I'd like to introduce you to someone rather important to Cliffe Castle. This is Henry Isaac Butterfield, and he's responsible for most of the castle as you see it. He was responsible for it being rebuilt in the late 19th century. And I always like to joke that if he could have something gilded, he would have it gilded. He liked fine things, so a lot of the museum shows those fine things. Favourite pieces, ones with good stories. Let me show you one. This one I like because it's Queen Victoria. And it's a painting that used to hang in this very spot. When Cliffe Castle was sold, it was taken away down to Nottinghamshire with the family, and then it was sold on from that point, and we didn't know what had happened to it until a colleague of mine walked into an antiques shop down there and spotted it, and we've been talking about it only the week beforehand. So we were very lucky that our friends group here were able to find the funds to buy it and return it back to Cliffe Castle and back to its very spot. These are really nice. All round the museum you'll spot pictures by the same artist, and it's Countess Manvers. And she's the granddaughter of Henry Isaac, who is responsible for most of the Victorian style of the place. But she painted a lot of the interiors, and they're a really good source for us for what was in there, where things were, and the colours. Because you look at some of the colours and you think they're really bright, they're really vibrant. Was it really that colour? Has she used artistic licence? And where we've been able to do paint scrapings, they generally do match with what she's painted. So it means for spaces where we can't always do that, we've got a really good reference point for how things looked. You can spot the chairs, you can spot the picture that's hanging above this one in the painting. This is another quite interesting thing. I'm sure you've heard of that well-known literary family, the Brontes. This has actually been made from wood taken from the church at the time. So you can have a look and you can see the structure. Because we've taken the part of the roof is off, you can look inside the church, so you can see the box pews that would have been in there at the time of the Bronte. So it's a real way of seeing how they would have worshipped in the church that obviously their father was running. It's just got so many different stories and so many different connections, and that's to me what museums are all about anyway, is making those connections and carry on telling the story of the place and its people.
I'm Michael Scarborough, and I'm the chair of the Friends of Cliffe Castle. I've lived in Keighley quite a while, and I'd always enjoyed coming up to the museum. I have to say I particularly enjoyed the parkland. I got involved. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the talks that were given. I enjoyed a sense of involvement. But I think top of all those, because I was also involved in education in the town, I enjoyed the pleasure that people got from it, particularly young children. One of the strengths of Cliffe Castle to me is the variety of what there is within it. So yes, I enjoyed those restored rooms. I enjoyed the Keighley history bit. I enjoy the rocks. So if you say, is there a favourite area? No, I wouldn't say so. It's the sheer variety, which is very important for children. The children enjoying just moving from one to the other. Oh yes, I love the birds. Oh yes, I love the rocks. And I think that's the strength of it. It's a house. It's a place to move around. It's a place to enjoy. When I came in today, I looked and I thought, a wonderful open expanse. You can wander where you want. There are the trees. You can stop. You can look out to the landscape of Rumbles Moor. That sort of sense of wandering, in a quiet way. People love this. It's their grounds. It's their museum. And that's very, very important in a community.
This animal used to live here a long time ago, and you can find them in the ocean. My name is Jack, and today we have been going around and looking at different objects and looking at the exhibits, and one of the experiments we did is we did gilding, and we used like golden leaf to like make it shiny and stuff.
This gold paper on.
So first we had like this carved copper piece,
And
and
then
then we
we
put
got
glue, this glue, and then we got this like thick piece of gold,
this thing.
and then we stuck it
We
on,
stuck it on,
and
and
then
then
the brush we dabbed it on, and then it made it look.
Very nice. I liked it because there were lots of different pictures and patterns. I thought it was fascinating what Miss told us, and I want to do it at home.
Right, where can we go next then, Koby?
If you follow me and Jack.
Come on, Jack. Show the way.
It's a difficult question because I like them all, but I have to say my favourite exhibit is the Star Wars one upstairs with Chewbacca. I learned that there is loads of fun jobs here in Cliffe Castle, and when I'm older I will return here and become the job upstairs in the phone area. Let it go, turn away, slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. I'll never bother me anyway.
We were singing with a club that we did at school, and it's called Glee Club, and we just do lots of fun stuff.
We did some singing, and we were reading, and then we did a Let It Go dance.
It was a bit scary at first because obviously everyone was watching you, but then you just got used to it and just kind of went for it.
It was really cool that you were near old stuff, but we were just worried that we were going to smack something and make it smash.
We were worried about that, but it was good because it feels like we've created a new memory here, because this place must have so many memories, so we just created a new one.
I joined the art group by accident, actually. I was walking my little dog in the grounds of Cliffe Castle, saw people in here, being a nosy Oxnut lad, came up basically to the window to look what they were doing, saw they were painting. Ruth, who was running the group at the time, I must have caught her eye. She came over and basically said, if you're interested with an art group, and if you'd like to join, we'd be pleased to have you joining. So the following week I came down, and it's gone from there. It's therapeutic, I think. If it unstresses you because you more, I think you relax, you tend to be in your own little world sort of thing, and you cut out any problems you may have or anything for 2 hours, and it just tends to relax you. Feel better when you go out here. Well, that's how I feel anyway,
My inspiration is from articles in the museum, really. I found the museum really interesting. The last thing I did was one of the stained glass windows upstairs, took a photo of it, and then I made my own drawing from it. It really means a lot to me, those stained glass windows, because the people who donated them, they could have just thrown them away. It was the people who took over the mosque in Keighley, the Bengalis. And instead of just throwing them away, they actually bothered to donate them to the museum. Just little things like that. It's quite meaningful, isn't it,
I'm DARU ROOKE, and I'm museum manager here at Cliffe Castle Museum. Well, I came to Cliffe Castle 11 years ago, and I came here to curate a collection that I thought was absolutely astonishing. And the thing that most delighted me about this place is that unlike any other museum I've ever worked in, it's really, really close to the heart of the communities that live here in Keighley. And seeing the same faces, every day enjoying the collections, seeing young people, old people, all enjoying the building is of incredible value to me, and it makes working here worthwhile. I think it's just incredible trying to sum up some of the stories here. So it can range from discovering that Henry Isaac Butterfield, who built Cliffe Castle in Keighley, spent his time at the court of Napoleon III, knew Empress Eugénie, fled the assault on Paris during the 1870s, and was friends with all sorts of incredible people, composers, musicians, artists. So on the one hand, you get this really grand story, but equally, it's the small things you find in the museum that are the possessions of everyday people that are astonishing too. I remember finding a rather strange brooch in the collection, which had what looked like a very elaborate stone set into it, and we discovered it was a piece of shrapnel that had entered a soldier's eye during the First World War and blinded him, and he had it turned into a brooch so that he could show people exactly what had happened. What an astonishing thing that is. So from the macabre, really, to the really rather grandiose. I think what we see oftentimes is grandparents coming back with their grandchildren, having known the museum in the 1950s and 60s, coming back with the next generation but one and saying, I was really excited when I first saw this two-headed sheep, or look at this amazing clock, isn't it incredible? And the look of wonder on the children's faces when they encounter these things is astonishing, but it allows that generation to share their stories and memories with a younger generation.